And there you are. Hello, welcome back to Resistance Chicks, the Patriot Gallery Hour. I think this is good. So I think you should tell them a little bit why they're going to watch this video. No, go on and click on it over here. Click.
The movie's gone, I think.
And then click.
And then click on here?
Yep.
Well, this will make sense after you.
Well, here, I should tell them.
Okay,
Here,
guys.
Pause.
So Patriot Gallery is always telling people the horses are the way to go.
You might need to pause that. They will not hear Leah.
My Patriot Gallery is always telling people the horses are the way to go. And lo and behold, this little rapper, black rapper, hooked up with Billy Ray Cyrus and made a country song. And what's hilarious about this is that the black rapper actually rides his horse and everybody looks at it like, wow, what a horse. And so that's why Patriot Gallery is going to show you this video. And it's super famous, some little rapper dude. It's actually like hilarious. So I want black people to farm. I want black people on horses and actually promote this video, although the lyrics are horrendous. Don't listen to them.
All right. So,
and I'm just going to play parts of it.
and then you can go ahead and shut down the ad.
Whoa! Whoa! Boss, I'm flabbergasted. Why we stop?
When you see a black man on a horse going that fast, you just gotta let him fly.
You right. That's a horse.
That is a horse.
Daddy?
Whew. That was rough.
It should be fine. We'll settle in here for the night.
I don't know, man. And last time I was here, they weren't too welcoming to outsiders.
You're with me this time. Everything's gonna be all right.
All right, now would be a good time to pause it. Okay.
Well, yeah. Okay, so that takes you from like the 1800s into modern day. And if you look at the top of your screen, is progressive good or bad? Progress that we're talking about here is 5G and space travel, but maybe that's progressive. So we're going to get into that, but let's finish the recording here. See here. I'm only going to play parts of this that are relevant to the blog. And if you want to pull this up on Blogger, you can pull it up on Blogger and read along.
Road, I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse through the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
I got the horses in the back, horse stock is attached. Head is matted black, got the bushes black to match. Riding on a horse, you can whip your Porsche. I've been in the valley, you ain't been up off that porch. Now, can't nobody tell me nothing.
Happy birthday, Mackenzie.
Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Riding on the tractor, lean all in my bladder. Cheated on my baby, you can go and ask her. My life is a movie, bull riding in boots. Cowboy hat from Gucci, Wrangler on my booty.
Okay, you got me. It's all good. You cheated though. That horse got like a V12, but I ain't even worried about it. I just hit a flock and I'm up.
This is my first time. I just have to get used to it. Experience is best teacher.
Hat down, cross town, living like a rock star. Spend a lot of money on my brand new guitar. Baby's got a habit, diamond rings and Fendi sports bras. Riding down Rodeo in my Maserati sports car. Got no stress, I've been through all that. I'm like a Marlboro man, so I keep going back. Wish I could roll on back to that old town road. I wanna ride till I can't.
Okay, that was Lil Nas X, Old Town Road. With, what's the other guy's name?
Billy Ray.
Billy Ray. Feel sorry for him as a father.
So true.
So let's dive right into here. If I go down, then it goes down, right?
I will make it go down.
Wait.
I need to be on your blog here. Wait.
Well, I want to know what they're saying.
Oh, well, okay. Then that would
Are
be...
they saying me move it?
They will.
Oh, eventually. That's right. Okay, so this is a stone-lined grain silo at an ancient city, Megiddo. And if you see there's steps inside here. And so what they would do is they would put all their grain in here, fill it all the way to the top. Now your grain comes in like June or, well, different times, different places. And you get it. Grain is the easiest thing you can raise. You dig the ground a little bit, throw it down on the ground, it comes back the next year. I mean, who knows how to do it? We don't know. Grain is the easiest thing to make bread, and grain is the easiest thing. So you get all your grain, you fill this whole area up, and then I don't know, they had to cover it with something to keep it dry. Because once grain is wet, it's no good. As long as grain stays dry, it can last for 3,000 years. The casing on the grain is that hard. Bugs, nothing will get to it. So they can put it in a silo like this and it just lasts all year, and the whole village can come and get this all year long. And that's the old way of doing it. It was great, wonderful. You know, they put the wells with rocks keep water in. Now they use rocks to keep that grain in. I tried to play this one first instead of the horseman. I guess it was the Lord. This is 26 Bible verses for farmers. And they give you all these scriptures in here. I've got a link on the blog. You can go and check it out. But then there's a little video on here too that gives you 10 scriptures.
Drew Haynes has placed first in the nation in the National Corn Growers Association.
I could not copy this no matter what I
contest.
tried. I tried everything. It's very inspirational if you are farming. I lost the whole thing. Hold on. Like, I'm new at this, my first time. And, Michelle, I think I lost my incognito window.
Hang on, I'm coming.
I think I hit the wrong button.
Well, then they're still seeing your incognito window, though. So go back over to it. Did you close it out on accident?
I think I did.
All right,
is that it? No.
No, let's pull it up, though. All right, be patient. I've done that before as well, actually. So we want to be on Blogger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to sign in. They can't see this yet. Well, actually, maybe they can. But no, they can't. You shrink it and then it, you think you're shrinking it and it closes it out.
One.
Now, how do we go view blog, I think? Right? We know we actually got to go back and do that.
You hit edit. You need to hit view.
All right, now let's add you. Now watch how I do this. Actually, I should make you do it. You want to make sure this is your top window right here. See how it's on the top? You're looking at it?
Mm-hmm.
Then go over here and then click on this. I like to right click on it. And see there's your thing?
Mm-hmm.
Should, in theory, it's supposed to pop up there. You have to keep it, make sure it's on the top. And then if that fails, we'll do this. We're going to delete it all together. Add source. We're going to add screen capture, window capture, Isaiah 58 Ministries. And drag it over here and pull it down so it fits. And then go back over here, go to it, and start scrolling.
Okay, now what happened was I hit on a thing I wanted here.
Mm-hmm. Maybe open link in a new tab. How about try that?
Okay.
And now they will see this. This is what they're seeing.
Okay, go down.
You go.
Well, there's
Close out that
another
ad,
one
though.
here. That's
Now,
not what I want.
Okay. Well, but that might be playing. Make sure when you scroll past videos that they're muted. See, there you go. Because you don't want them to be hearing that.
I did it again.
Well, it has to be the window at the top. Oh, you closed it again.
I didn't mean to.
That's all right. Be patient. We'll get it. We'll just try not to press this X. There's a no on the X. The X means no. Do not touch me. So when you want to, let's see. Where were you? What were you clicking on? Do you remember?
Up to the top. There's the one right there, right front, this first one.
All right, so we're going to open it in a new tab. And then, what do you want from here? What do you want them to see?
There's a video in here.
Okay, is that it?
Not that one.
Okay, let's make sure it's muted.
It says...
It is not. Let's mute it.
Farming. Farming.
Yeah, every time like I hover over that, it's not muting. It's unmuting it. Here,
That
this one. So we're going to open this up. They're actually seeing this, so you want to close that out. And that's an ad. They're seeing the ad, which you could mute, but sorry about the ad, guys.
Matt had us paint our windmill yellow and green for John Deere.
All right, so now...
Yeah, it's a cute little thing on farming.
Hang on, let me make sure they're seeing it. Because they're not. They're just hearing it right now, actually. Now they're seeing it. And now you want to work from here. When you're done with this, close this, not this.
Oh, I see what I was doing. Okay.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
And you can put the headphones in if you want to hear it.
I'm hearing it.
I'm going right back now.
So that's Successful Farming, and it's on its own little web page here, Successful Farming. I thought it was really cute. There's 26 scriptures there for encouraging people to farm. Now we're going to go on with the, I'm just going to be reading this blog as I go. I'll interject as I go. I had a hard time. I wanted to get this up first so it would just play when it came on. It didn't work, so that's what that's all about. But straight to the point. The farmers here use columbines. I'll fix that later. I'm going to make a note of that to fix columbines. I did spell it correctly. I don't know what happened to it. It's a flower too, so of course I know how to spell it. Okay, columbines and tractors during the early 1900s. People talk about, oh great, we're so successful, but we don't talk about the negative effects on human beings or on the animals that the earth that God created. So they come up with these great ideas of farm using columbines and tractors. But because of that, this caused millions. See, at this time, in the beginning of 1776, 95% of men farmed. And then in early 1900s, 65% of people farmed. So this caused millions of men to lose how they provide for themselves. They provided for themselves by growing grain and growing their own food. So people started to starve into depression. It wasn't because they didn't know how to grow food. They lost their land. So millions of human beings were displaced and removed from their own land. We talk about how all the white men displaced the Indians. Well, I'm a white person I was displaced from my own land from the same evil people that displaced the Indians. Not all bad people. Not all people are bad. Just a few. So their human beings were displaced and removed from their own land and farms that they had inherited. And then, on top of that, millions of horses were slaughtered. Millions. And so, when you say, oh, great, we're the farm belt or whatever, food belt for the world. Well, because of columbines, because of tractors. Well, we had to displace millions of people and slaughter millions of horses to do that. It was really bad. It wasn't God's will. So evil men using witchcraft, black magic, and illusions purposely herded We've heard about the black people putting herded into the plantations and inner cities. Well, white people are herded too. They were purposely herded like horses, mere horses, into cities, urban areas, onto assembly lines, and off their God-given land and off their God-given calling. Link here, it goes along with the stone-lined grain soil. That's where you can find that information. It tells about it. Grain silos have been found in the underground dwelling caves of prehistoric people of the, I don't believe that garbage, so I don't have to pronounce it right. The silos, bell-shaped and with a capacity of 40 to 55 liters, were found both in the living chambers and the connecting galleries. So I don't believe in evolution. I'm not going to read the rest of this stuff there. But it did store 1 year's grain. And not only that, they would take the same granary, same wheat, and plant it for the next year's harvest. So now we really start our blog here. Now you can see why I put cars next to the horses in the video we just watched, the Old Town Road. The horse was racing the car to see which one won. Okay, so is progressive good or bad? 5G space travel, part 1 and 2. This is a continuation of a series of blogs we've been doing. Progressive methodology. God's progressive. Progressive doesn't have to be a naughty word. It can be a very good word when it's God. And pondering the ways of God. God created food for us for the glory of God. And one that we'll do after this is the voice of Almighty God, the sledgehammer of God for destroying idols. We'll get to that. And here again is the 26 Bible verses. They're just really encouraging for anybody. If you're a human being, you're a farmer. You're going to find that out. It's a great web page and video, but except for the, I spelled Columbines twice wrong.
Yeah, but I fixed it.
Then I had it right and you fixed it and made it wrong.
All I know is it was Columbine and I took out the O-L-U.
Yeah, that made it Columbine.
No, it's just Combine. C-O-M-B-I-N-E. That's how you spell Combine.
Well, I looked it up and it had it on
Columbine is a flower.
I know it's a flower. But it also had, never mind. We're about another time. Okay. I'll get better at this. I'm not used to this at all. But I figure you may as well get in the pool and get wet, start to swim, and even if you drowned, I've got a lifeguard here, and Michelle's next to me. She'll save me.
I got you, Mom.
Yep. So in the beginning, Genesis, there were no tractors. This blog assumes teams of oxen or horses. Thus, the animals do the work God created them for. God created these animals with a purpose. And man has dominion over the animals, working in perfectly designed symmetry. That's one Michelle sentences. Horses have been replaced like a man, replaced by a robot, a car, or machines, a tractor, a combine. Then put out to pasture, having no purpose on God's creator. Horses have no more purpose on God's creator. Horses did everything. Horses are a necessary animal in oxen. All of a sudden, they're just in zoos and no time to see them. But if you look here, this is breathtaking. Draft horses can weigh up to 1,600 pounds.
Wow.
The horses were slaughtered and replaced with manufacturing of machines. And this is I'm going to play just a little bit of this. It's a 15-minute long video. You don't need to see it all, but it is breathtaking. Can I make this big here, or do I have to open another window?
TV. You can try. It probably will just take over the whole screen. You won't be able to do it.
How do I open another window?
Just go to YouTube. No. Click off of that and then go where it says YouTube. But that'll take you off your blog, which is fine. And then click theater mode.
Draft horses were
Hover over it
developed
where it
for
says
heavy
theater.
labor.
Wait, there it is.
They were often used for pulling
There you go.
loads.
Is it loud enough?
Like
Can you hear?
farm
Can you
equipment or
see if it's loud
carriages.
enough?
They
I can
were
barely
also
hear it here.
used as war horses to carry heavily armored knights into battle. The draft horse is known as a heavy horse, and is also described as cold-blooded. These horses can weigh 1,600 pounds or more and stand about 15.2 to 20 hands high from the ground to their withers. 1 hand equals 4 inches. The draft horse is tall in stature, heavy-boned, and extremely muscular. They have a shorter back and strong hindquarters. Many of heavy horses have long hair called feathering on their lower legs, and it sometimes covers their hooves. Many also have a head profile that is either straight or one that is convex, giving them the Roman nose appearance.
One of my favorites is
Draft
coming up.
horses
There it
have
is.
shoulders that tend to be
Look at that
more
long hair.
than their horse breeds, making their conformation and movement well suited for pulling carriages or hauling heavy loads.
My little partial long hair
Sturdy
on her.
pony breeds are also
Mane.
more heavy-bodied. They have
Mane.
also been used as work animals or as draft horses, pulling loads and carts, but they are much smaller
It's
than
really
a
loud.
heavy horse.
Very loud?
The term
I can turn it
cold-blooded
down, though.
refers
It's-
to the quiet, calm disposition of these big
So
horses.
turn it down
which
from here.
contrasts with the more high-strung nature of the hot-blooded, light horse breeds.
Keep going.
Draft horses are good-natured,
There.
have a natural curiosity, and will readily train. They make wonderful companion horses and equestrian
Aw.
animals. The list of draft horse breeds below includes the best-known heavy horses, as well as those that are lesser known. Each draft breed horse guide provides in-depth information about their origins and background. There is a description with pictures, horse care, feeding,
I think they can hear me eating out of my bowl. Sorry, guys, I'm that close to the
as well
mic.
as potential problems. Here are some of the most popular draft horse breeds. Number 1. American Cream. These draft horses are natives of the...
So those are just breathtaking animals. Oh, I love them. They can be 7-8 feet tall. They're mammoth, and they're meant to work. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like if you sat around all day. I've heard many people say, I got to work my horses, you know, who have regular horses. Oh, ever stand around and get fat because nobody ever rides them. Horses need to be worked. They have to ride just to keep their slender figure. So horses need work. So the main point is this scripture right here. Then the Lord took man and put him into the garden that he might dress it and keep it. The word here is cultivate. Man, Adam, loved the Lord, talked to the Lord. God talked to man. Adam was created by God. I want to distinguish this together. Man and Adam are like the same. And Adam called himself a farmer. Man, Adam, was responsible before God to cultivate the earth and all God created, to keep it free and clean, doing the work God created each thing to do. It was very good. And we see here that the Amish, in your picture on the left, the Amish have been reunited with God because they accept the good news. Jesus shed his blood and his body was broken on the cross in payment of Adam's sin. So now they continue in the work God gave them, gave Adam and Eve. This is the work God gave mankind, to cultivate the land. It's the same calling for all of us. God created all men equal. All men are farmers. And I'm going to prove that later out of Scripture. All men are responsible for God, before God. So your mom and dad, they probably had a job somewhere in an assembly line or in an office or whatever. They were called by God to cultivate and take dominion of the earth, keeping it clean. All things God created continues day after day to, if mankind's doing its job, then everything that God has created continues day after day to multiply in due season, doing the work it was created to do. And this is one of our first gardens here. We were pretty new at it, but look, it's called beginner's luck. I guess we're like here, we've been doing it for 5 years, and like everything's growing, everything. You got golden raspberries back in the background. There's tomatoes. There's pepper plants here. I mean, just everything took off for us. The land hadn't been used too much, so the nutrients hadn't been taken out of it. It had to sit still for over 50 years. Nobody ever used it. So we did really good with that land. Oops. Don't hit that button. I know what happens when you hit that button.
Good job.
I'm just getting pictures now. This button I can hit. I hit the right button. Good. Over here is one of our first mamas and the little chickens. This is from our newborn chickens. This is a while ago. Now we have a couple mamas sitting on eggs right now. So God gave man a wife and children to help him in order that he wouldn't be alone. So Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel, and Seth loved God, talked to God, and God talked to them, each fulfilling God's call to cultivate the soil, God working with them. In modern terms, God hired them, and he is their boss. And he said, I hire you to cultivate the soil, and then he provides all they need, or he pays their salary. Everything you need, God provides. He even gave them the land they need and the seed they need. Those are all scriptures. Oops! We need a do-over. Adam and Eve listened to the cunning craftiness of the devil and disobeyed God. They lost their minds, their souls, their freedom. Men could no longer love God or talk to God or hear God. They were separated from God. What happens when you're separated from God? Everything that they did was much, much, much harder. Even painful. Because God wasn't working with them any longer. And you're going to see the Ford Model T was actually a cunning craftiness of the devil. Look, you don't need horses. You don't need this. You don't need that. We'll just put these cars together. It's a type of socialism, you think about it, an assembly line. Everybody working together on assembly line to put out cars. Here's a picture of Henry Ford, who invented the Model T. And he paid his workers higher, but you know how he paid his workers higher. He didn't use gold and silver. They just printed it up. He didn't pay them at all. It said it was backed by gold, but then when they go to collect the gold, they can't get it. And so actually he didn't pay them. It really was slave labor. They weren't free. So slave labor in that they weren't free to do what they wanted to do. They didn't know they had been herded into this situation. They didn't know the cunning craftiness of an evil man. So Genesis 3:6. So the woman, seeing that the tree was good for meat, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to get knowledge, took the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave it to her husband with her, and he did eat. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig tree leaves together, and made themselves breeches. So this picture is actually titled The Progressive Movement. So this is where Hillary Clinton and all the progressives start with Ford or FDR, your Democrats. So Ford's a Democrat, FDR's a Democrat, Wilson's a Democrat. These are your KKK people. And you can see, Satan's very cunning. Men looked at the cars like Men looked at these new cars, the Model T, the Model A, and they lusted after them, and they saw they were good for transportation. And hey, to get a car goes faster than a horse or whatever. You don't have to feed it all the time, but they didn't realize, gas was very, very cheap back then, very cheap. But anyways, it was something they desired, just like Eve desired the fruit of the tree. Afterward, they heard the voice of the Lord walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord among the trees in the garden. And one thing, this scripture here is for Ford, but he shall say, I am no prophet, I am a farmer. For man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. This is a prophecy where Ford is telling everybody, hey, we're going to have cars on all the roads. Well, that means they need brand new roads. They need cars. The whole society had to flip and change just for Ford to have his cars on the road. And millions of people had to be displaced, and millions of horses had to be slaughtered. And so he was a false prophet. You read here, in his early years, Ford was first of 6 children. And his father was a prosperous farmer. And he didn't like farming, and he didn't like studying. And so he was not going to study, he wasn't going to farm, even though he was taught to farm. And he got all the jobs as an engineer and different things. So I've got down here, Hillary Clinton's mentor mentor Ford. And he is a crook, a thief. One of the founders of the modern progressive, communistic, socialistic, democratic party is Henry Ford, and Hillary looks up to him. Slaving people is what they love to do the most. They hate freedom because they can't control people. They love to control people, make them. It's witchcraft, putting spells on people's minds, and they don't even know they have a spell on their mind. But that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, see, Henry Ford had a dream, shall be put to death because he has counseled rebellion against the Lord. See, the Lord had told people to be cultivators of the soil, be farming the soil, and Ford taught people to rebel against the Lord, your God, who brought you from the land of Egypt and redeemed you from the house of slavery. He's to seduce you from the way in which the Lord, your God, commanded you to walk. So you shall purge the evil from amongst you. Now we don't go by Old Testament. It's the principle of the matter. We don't go around killing people, okay? But it's the principle of the matter. And somebody puts a spell over your mind, they just made you a slave. They're at war with you, according to John Locke's Second Treatise of Government. So he's at war, Ford's at war with American people already. So we would have to fight and announce a war against Ford. If he was to die in battle, that'd be another thing. Okay, President Trump is just trying to save what Ford and others did to enslave American people into cars and assembly lines, steel working, all this kind of stuff. It started in the early 1900s. Before that, in the 1700s, Hamilton was pro-industry. George Washington, Adams, Jefferson were for everybody farming. They understood their liberty to farm was an obedience to God. And Benjamin Franklin said, to disobey a tyrant or rebellion is obedience. And so most of the founding fathers hated industry, and they certainly hated central banks. Hamilton was for central banks and for industry. And my poor father worked in Hamilton, Ohio on a General Motors plant. So they gave glory to Hamilton in that. Okay, he was using fake wealth of fake paper dollars. Evil men just printed up their wealth and hired others. But it was all fake. When you're paid gold and silver, that person had to earn that gold and silver, because very few banks are going to turn over enough to build a factory with assembly lines of gold and silver. They're just not going to do it. That's like hiring an army with gold and silver. And so they made a central bank with Wilson, and they just started printing up everything and enslaving people without any gold and silver. It was all illusion, witchcraft. But this is mega on the surface. This is what make America great, start those factories back up, start those steel industries, get those men back in that coal industry, get them underground where they're choking and canaries die in those coal mines. They end up with coal dust sicknesses. Yeah, get these men sick again. I mean, we got to think, add God to the mega equation is what I'm trying to do here. So I think President Trump might actually understand this, because he has thought all this through before he went into office. Okay, and I think he's being patient. It says, is President Trump patiently waiting for others to discover this themselves? On the picture to the right, my right, this is the first greenbacks. This is Abraham Lincoln. He didn't have enough gold and silver to start the Civil War. So he said, listen, I'm going to take down these plantations. I'll take their gold. I'm going to give this paper's not you, the greenbacks. When I get the gold from the plantations, you can come and change your greenbacks in for gold. That's the idea of gold-backed money. But the gold has to be there, and you can't print up more. The Federal Reserve and the government has always printed more than they were allowed to. So you can never trust gold-backed money, because you can't trust that they're going to be honest with it. Men are going to sin, and they're not going to be faithful. You can trust a real gold coin and a real silver coin. And the Bible says, check your gold coins, check your silver coins, make sure they're pure. And they're real, the whole thing. Okay. So, Is President Trump, wait a minute, I'm missing something here. Picture to the right. Only gold and silver coins are money. Illegally printed money is punishable by death in the Constitution. It is stealing. It's grand theft. It is debasing the value and worth of human beings through unjust wages for labor and gold and silver coins. I'll fix that later. You guys are really helping me. I can go back and fix all this. I see the mistakes. Is President Trump patiently waiting for others to discover this themselves? That so-called progress is a dead end? Meaning, two meanings. This picture to the right here is part of the Game of Thrones. It's all the people are in a crypt. And where do we get the word cryptos? Again, cryptos is another dead end. It says it right there in the word. It's a dead end. It means the death of mankind. It means the slaughter of mankind. You start accepting cryptos, using cryptos, that's it. We're going to be slaughtered like them horses. I'm sorry, that was a bad sentence. Okay, mankind slaughter. It's not mankind's salvation. Real mega is stopping the so-called progress that is taking us further and further away from the very essence of what makes us human. While they desire to go forth into the future and travel in space, President Trump said, let's travel to the moon, let's travel to Mars. You know, they're all talking about 5G technology, trying to spur us on to progress. Spur progress on. But 5G is a murderous radiation weapon aimed at every citizen on Earth.
Bad idea.
I mean, it's aimed at all of us.
Bad idea.
Sorry, no can do. I'm just thinking there's major snipers out there, and they're going to have these little bullets with little bombs, and their towers are not going to stay up. A sniper should hit something 1,000, 2,000 yards away. You're not even going to know where it came from. The towers can't go any further than 2 to 8 homes. So the tower's not going to see it coming.
No, it's so stupid.
So people don't need it anymore. God has saved and redeemed mankind's soul. The populist movement has discovered all this progress was a lie. And we have the surveillance state here where they know everything about you. They see everything about you. You can't move without them knowing it. And it ends up being the AI, the machines. You can't move without a machine who becomes your boss and your overlord. I repeated this sentence because I thought it needed to be repeated. 5G is a murderous radiation weapon aimed at every citizen on Earth. Citizen on Earth. You're going to have headaches. You're going to have a hard time breathing. Just all kinds of symptoms. These towers are every 2 to 8 houses because they don't go far in order for them to do all that and to be so powerful. So that it's all radiation. And here's Ivanka Trump, this smart little young lady. She knows everything. American dominance in the industry of the future is predicated on the connectivity of 5G is the future. Thank you, Donald Trump.
Make sure that they understand that you're being facetious when you talk about her being super smart.
I have no problems with Ivanka Trump. For your leadership in making sure all Americans, including our great rural communities, are digitally connected and hit with radiation poison every single day so they die really early. If we continue in that direction, soon we will be like the draft horses. Billions of people killed because they were no longer necessary. Robots and machines replacing all of us. Now, the survival instincts God has placed in all men is to stop progress, even into space and advanced technology. Dr. Janda here, this man next to him, I'm sorry I don't have his name right here, he was the CEO of Microsoft in Canada, and he has an organization trying to make safe technology. He tells you all the problems with 5G, and he says they're doing all this for money. You start a new program of 5G, you know how millions, billions dollars will be put into putting these cell towers like everywhere. All brand new internets, all brand new everything. It's all about making money. It's not about your health or your well-being. Better, faster. What is that word?
Bigger, better, faster.
Bigger, better, faster. And each time you do a bigger, better, faster technology, a whole new wave of money hits the system. And these evil people weigh success on money. And whether the economy is growing, they don't weigh success on whether people are happy, healthy, or content with their lives, owning their land and farming. And they don't weigh it on whether we have a lot of justice. If America, I mean, we took our bicycle trip everywhere we went. Everybody talks about how somehow they were unjustly treated. Because there's no justice. The only person who gets justice is the person making money, so they make more money. It's all about making money. Our own township doesn't want us to farm here for property values. Property value is more important than my rights to have a healthy food source. They say you have to go to a job and you can't live free. You can't raise your own animals because their property values are so much more important than your very own health. And all the food in the grocery store is poison, so you have to grow it yourself. But they don't weigh that in when they're making laws and stuff, and so the courts don't weigh that either.
We have people with tremendous amount of sicknesses. I just talked to a lady today.
This is really loud. Just talk off.
I just talked to a lady today whose daughter has all kinds of autoimmune or whatever going on. She can't eat this, she can't eat that. And I said, all these kids, especially sub 30, have all these issues. And you know, she said to me, she lived in a nice fancy neighborhood. She goes, I really wish I could do what you do, but I can't do it here.
What good is it if you gain the whole world and lose your soul? When you lose your soul, you lose your health. Your health is connected to your mind. Your mind is connected to your spine. Your spine is connected to every nerve in your body. So if you don't have health, you've lost no matter what. And so, I mean, I've seen people who, you know, like they just died the next day and they're fighting for this, fighting for that, and they wasted their entire life on something like, I don't know, something really dumb and stupid. It's like, is it really worth it? No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because you're just getting sick because of it. This is a little advertising I did for the blog, and I think after seeing and heard the blog, you can understand what the advertising is. New blog.
Stacy says that parents out in California are suing, I think she means their community, for a cancer cluster in their children because 5G on the public schools, and there are like 10 kids full of cancer.
Here's our blog. New. Is progressive good or bad? 5G space travel. The picture here relates to a strong, healthy man created by God using horses God created to help man uphold his God-given responsibility to cultivate the earth. So this guy's doing everything right. He's working these horses. These horses are very satisfied. They're out there getting their muscles. I'm just thinking, my gosh, you know how much those horses eat. We all wish we were horses. We could eat that much. Because if they work hard like this, they could eat as much as they want.
I think that's where the saying comes from. You eat like a horse.
Eat like a horse. And look how pretty they are. Oh, they're gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay. So, the Georgia Guidestones. Ivanka Trump. America's dominance in industry of the future is predicated on connectivity. And that's what I call technological socialism. We all have to have it, you know. You know, it's like electricity. If I don't want electricity or telephone, they're still going to put a pole on my property. And that's really illegal. If you want electricity, you have to have it yourself. And I don't know how you're going to do it without trespassing on everybody else's land. And that's wrong trespass. Okay, and she says, 5G is the future. While Ivanka is doing this, well, look at that there. Jared Kushner is at the Bilderberg meeting. They also call this the Atlantic Council. These are the world controllers. If you go here, like Stacey Abrams went and Jared Kushner, they're young. They're preparing these young people for world leadership. I mean, like the leader of the world. Okay? But I had a little note here. Always send Delilah to strip men of their power. See, men kind of crave technology. They kind of crave the cars. And because they're going, they don't have time to spend alone with God so God can strengthen their innermost being and strengthen their mind and fill them with the truth. And so men are weak and they fall into all this sin. And they love cars, fast cars. But that comes back to the beginning. I didn't show on the the movie or the video music video. I'm not in the groove right now, okay? I don't do that kind of stuff.
It was a musical.
Yeah, I'm from then when they musicals. Okay, so in that, the guy comes in with this huge, beautiful. I think it was like a Mustang car, and compared to the Mustang horses, and they dump the poor little horse. The horse is left alone for the slaughter, and they take off in the car at the end. I didn't show you the end. It was very sad. So
at the end of that music video,
yeah, they get and they take off with the money.
You said they dumped the horse off. Like,
well, they left the horse
in a neighborhood. It wasn't like
him.
Yes, but it's not like off in the like the horse is like
it was very
pining
sad.
After them.
The horse was his horse.
Yeah,
I mean he raced a car and won.
It's a music video, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to finish up here. This is all based on, then the Lord took man and put him in the garden that he might dress it and keep it. So the point of the blog is, we're all called by God to cultivate the land. And instead of looking at a Porsche or a BMW or a Mustang and lusting after it and go, oh my gosh, look at that. That's a beautiful car, boats. We've had campers. We had all this stuff driving. But for Memorial Day, I saw everything you could lust after. Just, you love and care for the horse. I mean, these horses are breathtaking. So, if anything, ooh and awe of the splendid majesty of God's creation. Can I play this or not? See here. Let me see here.
Draft.
Let's get some that we didn't play.
White
Oh,
with
the
a black
baby
stripe.
and horse. Baby and mama.
Draft horse in France and other parts of Europe.
Stacey says,
The
I
breed
am
is
my own horse,
branded
LOL.
on the left
No-till
side, neck and
permaculture
maker.
gardens. I have no
Most
need for a horse
fuel
now,
owners
but
are
for
gray in
transport, and we are looking
Black
for
or
2 this
very
summer. It's been
dark
6
bay
years
colors were
since
frequent
I
in the 18th
sold
century,
my
But
horses.
as gray is a dominant gene,
They're gorgeous.
and breed numbers are small,
To
non-gray
appreciate
members of the breed have
the
become
muscular
extremely
form
rare.
of these animals.
There is
the
an
height.
attempt today to reintroduce
weight.
black color via the genes of a single black
1,600
Milanese
pounds.
stallion named Issop.
This
There were
muscular
originally 2
build.
varieties of
Well, I think
others
also, though,
recognized. The larger type
and they're
was
pretty.
called the Marie,
When we go
which
back
stood
to
15,
the garden,
got
we go back to Adam and
3, 16, got
Eve,
3 hands
and
high,
how
weighed
God gave
1,430
Adam
to
dominion over the animals.
1,650
Like I
pounds.
said, I use that word,
The
that
smaller
perfect
type was called
symmetry.
the Mary-us or Mary-er,
That
horse of the
man
tide, and
could
ranged
take
between
dominion
15.1
over
and
such a large
15.3
beast.
and weighed
That's what makes
1,210
horses
to
special. You know,
1,430
every once in a while
pounds.
you'll
The
see
blue
somebody
eyes
can
has a short,
train a
elegant
bear,
head with a
but then
broad
they might
forehead
kill him, or they
and
can
a
train a
short,
lion, but then they
muscular
might kill
neck.
him.
The
Okay,
breed has a full chest,
a horse is not
rounded
some sort of,
ribcage, and a
you know,
sloping shoulder.
it's an
The
animal
legs
that
are
was
fairly short,
created by
but
God
robust
to
and
be
strong.
a
Unlike other
companion
draft breeds, such
and
as the
and
Shire or
a useful
Clydesdale, it has
tool.
no heavy feathering on
And
its
horses
legs.
respond to love.
They
Horses
do,
do
yeah.
respond to love.
Right.
The Breton is a breed of draft
Oh,
horse.
gorgeous.
It
Just
was developed
gorgeous.
in
Okay.
Brittany.
What's this? Good night, everybody. We're blog Friday,
Well,
Saturday.
we'll be live tomorrow at 6. We will not be live on Sunday at our normal time. We may do one later in the afternoon, but or later in the evening, but probably not. But maybe we'll do one on Monday. But this has been we need some sort of like old 1950s, like do-do-do-do, Patriot Gallery Hour.
But
You
I
know,
have 2 more to
something
do
like that.
tonight. I'm going to keep playing around. You guys go to bed. You got
No,
work
they
to
can
do
come
or
back.
stuff.
Don't tell them to go to bed.
Or come back.
I might go to bed. I'm going to go to bed.
I'm going to try this on my own. So it got, is progress
Progressive.
Good.
Now, don't close that out
or bad?
because
Oh, I almost
you're going to
touched that
lose
bad
it.
never.
I mean, you'll use it next time. So go over here to the
Well,
software.
let me finish my sentence.
Okay.
Is progressive good or bad? Is 5G going to space, outer space, good or bad? That part 2 coming up.
So go to the software.
Don't I have to hit the ending?
Yep.
Then I mute it?
Yep.
I was called